Hey everybody, welcome back to creating scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator using free resources. Today we are working on Quonset Hangar, and if you're looking at the screen saying, what the heck? Well, this isn't the Quonset Hangar that we've been working on. It's a different one. But anyway, I wanted to show you another aspect of modeling, not modeling, or well, modeling and texturing. But I wanted to show you with this particular hangar. It's still a standard Quonset hangar, but this one has a unique sign that I want to show you how to model and apply textures to it, and you can use these steps to work on your project as well. Anyway, I am in the process of going back to every one of my airports, and I'm basically redoing them. I've learned a lot more, and I want to apply new techniques and stuff and make my models better and better. So I'm going back to this is Cleveland Burke Lakefront Airport, or KBKL, or Kilo Bravo Kilo Lima. Okay. Anyway, I am redoing textures, redoing the model in places that could be better. But the thing that I want to show you today is working with text. Working with text and different fonts and stuff, so you can make signs like this. This is Signature Flight Support in Cleveland, Ohio. And I just want to show you a little bit how you can work with text to turn those into 3D models. Okay. So basically, this particular hangar that I'm in the process of redoing a lot of it has a sign, and it's a Signature Flight Support sign, and it lights up at night. So if you look at it, it's the logo is intricate. All right, and a lot of this stuff that you find when you're doing these custom models is that a lot of times they're so unique you have to pretty much create them yourself. Okay, so how would you go about creating a model that looks like this, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it took a while for me to create this word signature, but I'm going to show you the process that I use to create it. And then I'm going to show you how to work with some text and turning those into 3D models that you can add effects to. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to come over and see if I can find, I got to remember where I put a lot of this stuff. Okay, I think this is it. All right, so I got an empty. So I'll hit period to focus. There it is. All right. So basically what I did was I created a new object. So I did a keycast. Sorry, I always forget that. Keycast. There we go. It always shuts off when, I first come into Blender, but that's okay. All right. So I'm going to create a new object. So I shift to A, and I come down to image, and I do reference image. So I click that, and you get the dialog box, and then you find wherever your image is. Okay, and then depending on what your view is in your editor determines whether you align that that image to the view or not. Okay, so I selected an image that I downloaded for signature flight supports logo, and then I click load preference reference image, and that image comes into Blender like this. Okay, then I went to tilde T, which is the top view. Okay, so zoom out, there's top view, and I get that nice image that I can work with. All right, now it gets pixelated as you zoom in, obviously. Okay, now how did I go about creating the signature? Now, I didn't do flight support and the aviation company at the bottom. I just wanted this script logo. Okay, so basically I'm going to add a new object, and I'm just going to Shift A, and I am going to add a mesh, and I'm going to add a single vertex. Okay, however, my 3D cursor is over here, so I want to move it to the selected, so I'm going to Shift S and cursor to selected, so it puts my 3D cursor right here. Okay, now I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to go mesh, and I'm going to go to single vertex. Okay, and then I'm going to go into vertex edit mode here, and now right here there's a vertex, so if I hit G, I can move that vertex over to where I want it. All right, now I'm not going to do the big S or anything like that. We'll just do the period, the dot of the I here. So I click and move that vertex there. Now it's just a matter of editing the cursors. Now this can take a while depending on the complexity of the image that you're tracing, but with edit mode and node select on, I have this node, this vertex selected. I'm going to hit E, sorry, and I'm going to extrude that vertex, and then I'm going to click, and then another E, and click E, click E. So basically I'm just doing a whole bunch of extrudes to create this little polygon. And you can get it as accurate as you want. Okay, I'm going to move my cursor out of the way because it's interfering. And then when I get to the last vertex, I just shift and select the first vertex. So I have the last and the first vertex selected, and I hit F. Okay. Did that? Yeah, that worked. Yeah, there's the line between those two. Okay, so that basically closes that polygon. Then I go into edge select, and I select the edges that I just created, and I hit F, and that creates a polygon, a closed face. Okay, and so I did that for the entire signature. All right, I just traced around here and then selected all these edges and then turn those into faces. All right, so what do I do when I have a hole in the middle is I first just go around the outer edge. Sorry about that, I had a dry, probably a piece of cat fur down my throat or something. Anyway, to make like the G, I would go around the outside all and get the N, and then come all the way around and close this polygon. Okay, or create the face with the F. Then once that's created, I'll have one solid polygon that makes this shape, right? Except I don't have the hole in the G. Then the next step here, we'll do one really quick here. let's do this. Let's do a Shift A, because you're gonna, for each letter you're gonna have to add another vertice. So we'll add a single vertice, which is right here, and then we're gonna move that. And I'm just gonna make a quick and dirty circle around this. So I hit E, okay, E, and we just trace around our letter, you know, get it. I'm not doing exact because I want to show you how I make the hole, okay? So, except I would go all the way around, all right? And then select the last two vertices, hit F, and then go into Edge Select, and I'm holding down the Alt key and clicking an edge, and it loop selects, okay? All right, so that was with, make sure I get back to tilde T for top view. So I hit the Alt key and selected an edge, and it did a loop select, all right? So it didn't select these over here. Now I hit F, and now I get that polygon, right? All right, now we need to make the hole in the polygon. So this is basic modeling stuff, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to come down here to the knife, and I need my X-ray vision on here, and let's get it off of shading mode. All right, so I'm in X-ray, and I'm using my knife, and I click here, you know, do as close as you want. I'm just demonstrating how you make the holes. And then you come back to the last, and you get that brown box with a red outline. Click, hit enter, and it automatically slices. Now it's going to make us put an edge in a couple places so it knows how to do the math to make the hole. Then I'm going to go to the select arrow and polygon select that polygon, and delete it. Delete that face. All right. So that's basically how I made the signature. All right. Now I'm going to get out of here, and I am going to select, I don't want to keep it, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So I don't need that object, but that's how I created the signature. All right. Now there was a couple steps that I made after that, and I'm going to show you those real quick. So let's go ahead and delete that, and tilde T, because I keep messing up my view here. All right, so in the end, I got, let me see, I'm going to turn on the signature logo master. All right, and I'm going to turn off our reference image just because it's in the way. If I can find it, there it is right there. All right, so when I got done, I had an object that looks like this. It's not 3D or anything. All right, I made a copy of it. I called it signature logo master. All right. So if I made a mistake, I can come back and recreate it. All right, so I have a master. All right, so what I did again was I had it selected, and then did a Shift D, escape so I don't move it. So now I have a copy of it right here. All right, so I'll turn off my master and then use the copy to do whatever I want. All right, now I wanted to make, this is a three-dimensional sign. So the next step is I go into edit mode by hitting tab, and I go to polygon select, which I have. I select all, and then I extrude it. Okay, I'm going to exaggerate the extrusion just so you can see. All right, and I'm still in X-ray mode. You can turn X-ray mode off if you want. So now you have a three-dimensional version of that logo, right? Now, right after you do the extrude, if you notice the top face is selected, and usually what I want, the top face in this particular sign is a light, okay? It lights up at night, and then the edge is like a black metal frame. Okay, so right after the extrusion, with the main faces still selected, I hit P to make a new selection, and I rename that to, you know, whatever I want, but I'm just going to put face at the end of this. Okay, so now I have a signature logo master face, and then I'll rename this one to frame. Okay, so now I have a signature logo master face and a signature logo master frame. All right. So now I have a 3D model that I can move to its location like that, okay, and scale it, do whatever I want, just like any other object in Blender, okay, but we want to make this look like a lighted sign. So I'm going to select the face, select the frame, and I'm going to go to materials and see what kind of materials let's make it a nice shiny bronze frame, and then go into shade mode here. Okay, so now I have a nice shiny bronze frame. Okay, and the letters themselves, the faces of the letters, they're actually a light. All right, so I'm going to select the face, and I've already created a material for this because I have it on the actual Quonset hanger that I'm working on. But I have one called white light, and so I select white light, and obviously it doesn't change, right? Because it was already white. But here's the thing: is let's look at the properties of the white light. Okay, the base colors are gray, so when it's off, it's not bright white; it's just an off white. But if we come down, you notice that I used MSFS standard texture with a gray base, okay? And then for the emissive, I just made it just a little bit brighter. I don't want it too bright because, you know, when it's white and it's night, it's going to be really bright. I wanted to tone that down a little bit. So I just made my emissive just a little bit lighter than the off state of the light. Okay, and then I left the alpha. If you change the alpha, it changes the transparency. Then I go down to the day-night cycle, and I check day-night cycle. So at night it uses the emissive color, and during the day it uses the albedo color. All right, so that's how I did the signature sign. All right, so let's go ahead and turn that off, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that off and return to our building and select the sign, hit period to focus in on it. So that's how I created that signature. Okay, except it doesn't have a bronze outline. It's actually black in real life. All right, so when I bring this into the sim, you'll still be able to read kind of a white, even though it's gray, kind of a white sign on the side of the building. But at night, it's going to be a white light. Now, how did I do the flight support and the BBA Aviation Company part? Well, this is just using simple text in Blender, all right? But there's a little, it's not really a trick. I mean, a lot of people probably know how to do this, but just a couple steps that I took to make it less polygon intensive. Okay, all right, so let's find something here. Let's use this door face right now. I'm going to go into edit mode by hitting tab. That polygon's already selected. Shift S and move my cursor. Oops, nope. wait a minute. Let's try again. Let's select. There we go. Now I have it selected. Shift S, cursor to selected, moves it to the center of this polygon. All right, just moving over here so you can see what we're doing. Okay, and get out of edit mode. All right, now we are going to add simple text. All right, so, and that's a separate object. So I'm going to shift A, and I'm going to come down to text. And then it puts your text, it actually puts it in a top-down view. All right, but I need to rotate that up on the x-axis because the x-axis is going away from us, and then I'm going to rotate it on the z-axis or z-axis to bring it to the front. All right, so we're going to rotate it x 90, so that stands it up, and now we need to rotate it toward us, and so I think the rotation's in the negative direction, so RZ minus 90. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's text. Just simple text. Can't do much to it other than really change the color. All right, we can't, it's not 3D or anything like that. All right, well, we're going to change that. So let's go into edit mode by hitting tab, and you'll notice you'll get a cursor. I'm going to backspace over the word text. Of course, we can't see it because it's hidden by my hanger door. And I am going to type in, flight. Okay, and then I'm going to hit tab to get out. All right, so now we have our text, but you really can't do much to it. All right, so we are going to convert this into a mesh. All right, so with that text selected, just right click your mouse button and convert to, okay, wait a minute. If I go into edit mode right now, I get the cursor. Like I can edit the text itself, right? All right, we don't want to do that. Now, if I right click and convert to mesh, then I go into edit mode, it looks just like any other object in edit mode. Okay, it has edges, it has faces, and it has vertices, right? Now, here's the thing. Look at the letter G. See how many polygons it takes to make the letter G and all the vertices that make the letter G? Okay, we need to simplify that. Okay, because we don't want all these unnecessary polygons in our model. Okay, we just want a nice clean face with one polygon if we can. All right, so I'm going to create a new object based off of this object, but it's only the outlines of the text. All right. So I'm going to go into Edge Select up here and kind of zoom in. Some of it gets tricky. And I am going to use the Alt and the Alt Shift keys. And I'm going to do a series of edge loop selects for each letter to only get the outside edge of the letter. All right, so I'm going to hold the Alt key, and I'm on Edge Select up here. Alt key, select, so it selects those. Now that I have one edge select, I'm going to Alt Shift, and I'm going to go until all my lines around my letter are selected. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm Alt Shift and do the L, make sure it goes all the way around. I still have Alt Shift pressed in. Now the G is it's a little more. Okay, there's a little more edges to select. All right, so I've got them around the G. Let's do the H and the T. So I got the outline of my letter selected. Now I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate that, Escape so I don't move it, and then P to create a new selection. And I'm going to call this outline text outline. Okay, yep, that's right. So now I have a new object. Now I can get out of edit mode and I can turn off text 001, and now my new object is just the outline of the word flight. All right, it's now let's go into edit mode by hitting, whoops, let's select the object I want first, then go into edit mode. And now I still have all the vertices, but that's okay. But my faces, well, actually I don't have any faces yet. Okay, I just have edges and vertices right now. All right, now we need to close these faces. Now, if you remember how we did the signature logo, go to Edge Select and do your Alt and select Edge Select. All right. Then for the L, I'll do the Alt Shift and select those. Okay. But you want to do these one at a time. Okay. So let's do the Alt and select the F. Hit F to fill that face. And then let's do the L. I'm holding down the Alt key. F. Come to the I, Alt, F. G. So Alt, F. And then Alt, F. And then Alt, F. Now, if I turn on polygons and go to X-ray, you're going to see that now I have a face for each one of these letters. So if I go face select and select one, it selects a face. And it's one nice clean face. It doesn't, remember the G with all the different polygons that made it? Now it is only one solid face. It's nice and clean. Okay? Now the next step would be to do the extrusion. Okay, so let's, I hit the period to focus on it. All right, now you can do the extrusions, right? So we're going to go face select. I'm going to hit A to select them all, and I'm going to hit E to extrude. I'm holding my shift key so I can just move them out slow. Okay, so I did my extrude, and just like we did with the signature, after the extrude, the top faces are automatically selected. Okay, so hit P, create a new selection, and we're going to call this text face. Okay, and then we can rename text outline to text frame if we wanted to. You can call it anything that you want. Sorry, I dropped my earbud here. All right, so now we have a text frame, just like we did with the signature. All right, and get out of edit mode. And now we have a 3D object that's based on our text. Okay, and then again, you can go to frame and apply a material to it, just like that. And then you can create a material for the face that's kind of a light. But here we're going to create a new one. And I'm going to create a new one. We'll call this red. And then I'm going to come down to MSFS parameters and select standard. And our albedo, we're going to make our albedo red. And during the day, it's not, we don't want it quite that bright. So I'm going to come over here and darken that a bit. Okay, so that's what our red letters would look like during the day. And then for the admissive, we're going to select that and click the brightness, and I'm going to grab the value and drop that down a little bit below Here we go. We want our color to be red. And I want my value, you know, if I went down, you know, it's not all that bright. You don't want it to take away, you know, you can work with the brightness. Now my emissive is actually darker than my light itself, my daytime. So you can brighten it up a little bit. So here's what it looks like during the day. Here's what it looks like during the night. And then I'm going to come down and click day-night cycle. All right. So that's how you make signs based on letters. Okay. But how do you change the font? All right. Now, here's the thing with the font. Once you turn it into a mesh, you can't change the font. All right. So let's go ahead and show you how you do fonts. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select our door again. Go into edit mode. Select that face. Actually, it's already there, isn't it? Okay. Okay, I don't need to do that because there's my 3D cursor. All right, so we're going to add Shift A. We're going to add another text item. I'm going to rotate that X 90 so it's standing up. Rotate that in the Z direction -90 so it's coming out for us. Now it's on top of our other text, so I just want to move it in the Z direction so it's just out of, so it's not conflicting with our flight sign. All right, so now we have text. We have not turned it into an object yet. I mean, it is an object. It's a text object, but it's not turned into a mesh yet. However, we want to create text that has a different font. So I'm going to come over here to the A where there's a font. And let's say I want to make this Arial bold italicized. All right. So I'm going to come over to regular and I'm going to hit the file, the little file card right here. And you're going to get, it's automatically going to go to your system fonts directory. And then you're simply going to come down and find the font that you want. So here's Arial bold. Can't remember what the D stands for. Anyway, it means something, but BI is probably bold italicized. So if I click that and hit open font, notice that our font changes based on the font that we selected. All right, so let's hit that again. Let's select a different font. The only bad thing about Blender is you don't get a preview of what the font looks like. Okay, so let's select something that's obvious of what it might be. Let's go calligraphy. Let's see what bold italicized calligraphy looks like. Okay, so we changed the font. Okay, so go and check whatever font that you want and populate it. Now, I don't use the bold, the italicized, and the bold italicized here. I just, whatever font I want, I just put in the regular, okay? It doesn't matter. You don't have to put the italicized in the italic one and the bold in the bold, okay? You can put it in the regular one. That's usually what I do because it's just as easy. All right, so in the regular, I go hit the file card, select the font that I want, and it changes it into the font. Okay, you guys understand that? Then, just like we did before, I did it again. Sorry. I'm not very organized on this Thursday morning. All right, so once you have your text made, it's just like we did with this text down here. You can just, when you get it the way that you want, right click, convert to mesh, and then if you go into edit mode, you'll see all the polygons that makes that text. Okay, pretty complicated, right? And you don't want all these useless polygons, right? You just want the outer edge of the letter. Okay, so again, just like we did, go edge select, go to a letter, hit the Alt key, hold the Alt key, and click an edge. And then on the other side, click an edge. Whoops, I didn't do the shift. Alt Shift, and just keep selecting around the edges until, whoops, see, sometimes this is really tricky. Now I'm hitting Shift and then select. See, some of these, all right, Shift, got it. All right, so I got another one. I'm just moving along here. I'm just hitting the Shift key right. Come on. Ah. All right, I got myself into this. I have to get myself out of it, right? So Shift, Shift. Oh, I'm making things worse here. All right, let's try again here. So I'll, I'll select outside of that and zoom in. Some of these fonts are, you know, pretty tricky, but just as well as you can. I'm not hitting the Shift. There we go. Alt Shift. There we go, Christopher. And you just zoom in, Alt Shift, so you can get the edges that you want. Alt Shift. And those are selected down there in the corner. All right. This one's not up here, is it? I think it is. Yeah, it is. All right. So we got the outside edges selected, and then you hit Shift D to copy it, and then P to create a new selection to get the outline of that. So we're going to Shift D, escape so I don't move it, hit P, new selection, and then I'm going to get out of edit mode, turn off text 2, select text 3, and let's bring that forward so we can see it better. So that's GX, bring that out. And so there you got your T with that different font. All right. So what we learned today, we learned how to make this signature sign by tracing an image. We created this flight sign that looks, you know, to model what I did with the flight support part of the sign. Just a simple text, turned it into a mesh, got the outlines of the letters, so it's nice and clean faces. And then I extruded it, saved my faces, and then textured the faces to what I want them to look like. And I also showed you how to add text and change the font. Okay, so it's not the Quonset hanger that we've been working on, but it is a Quonset hanger that I'm redoing for version 3.0 of this airport. But it gives you some more tools on how to do your texturing and your modeling for your models for Flight Simulator. So I hope you guys found something useful in this video, and we'll be going back to our Quonset hangar at Akron Canton Airport in the next video and do some more texturing. And if you guys would, please subscribe, hit the notification bells for upcoming videos, and if you feel inclined, buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com, my physical world. Hey, you guys have a great day and actually have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week. I do have some other work that I need to get done. I am a cartographer, and I've been asked by a park service to make them a national park map. So I'll be doing some of that next week. So I'll try to get some videos out on the Quonset or anything else that pops to my head that I think I want you guys to know or to share with you. So you guys have a great weekend and practice using what you learned today, and tell me how you guys do text if you guys do it totally different. Okay, We will see you guys later. Thanks for coming. You guys are awesome. Bye.